welcome to Inside of New England's Therapeutic Talk. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. Hello, we will have a guest speaker today. Her name is Veritisha Mori. She is a counselor and also the author of Resilience, The Strength of My Scars, a true story of strength, courage, and tragedy turned triumph. I'm really excited to have her today. She's a beautiful, strong survivor, and she's going to share her story and also talk about mental health in our community. Hi, everybody. I'm Candace, and you're watching Inside of New England's Therapeutic Talk. I am here today with a guest speaker. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Veritisha Mori. I'm from Bridgeport, Connecticut. I'm currently an employee with the state of Connecticut. I work for the Department of Correction. I am also a self-published author. I'm happy to be here with everyone as well.
Yeah, happy to have you. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your book and some of the experiences?
So the title of my book is Resilience, The Strength of My Scars, a true story of strength, courage, and tragedy turned triumph. See?
It's beautiful. I love the color. It's like, yeah.
It came out this year, April 20th, 2020. I did everything myself. I wrote, edited, self-published, designed the cover, did everything on my own. It's a autobiographical transformational story, and it tells the story of a little girl who was riding her scooter back in June 2nd, 2003, right here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And she was hit by a car. And as a result of being hit by this car, she suffered a traumatic brain injury. She was in a coma. She was on life support, and she was nearly brain dead. She was also paralyzed on the entire left side. And, the verdict regarding her recovery was very minimal. Doctors first told my parents that I would not make it to the first night. And if I ever did wake up from the coma, I would be in a vegetative state for the remainder of my life. And as you can see, that little girl, which is me, of course, she blossomed into a successful, educated young lady who seeks to inspire and instill hope and motivation in our people. So the book includes, it's 223 pages. It includes color pictures from that accident, like before and after pictures, like actual raw evidence of like the scene and me in the coma, me in the bed. So it gives that visual representation of what exactly happened. But again, it pretty much goes from like, the dark time to the bright time that will continue to be bright, because that's my goal. So once again, especially in this current state of the country with the COVID-19 and the financial repercussions that a lot of people have unfortunately been suffering, I hope that my book will shine a light in our people and give us more hope and inspiration. Let them know that we too can be resilient and experience resilient and, shine through the darkness.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you so much. So again, it's called Resilience, The Strength of My Scars, a true story of strength, courage, and tragedy turned triumph. That's me.
So what do you recommend for people right now that are struggling?
As far as like mental health I would definitely say don't give up. Again, we can all experience resilience. We can bounce back. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's it's not over for us. And I send my condolences to all those who have lost loved ones along the way, especially within this COVID-19 pandemic, but it's not over. There's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I firmly believe that, in the darkness, there is light, and we kind of have to go through the rough patches to get to it has the rain before the sun comes out, pretty much.
Yeah.
I just think that this is not our story. This is not our fate. Like, the book does not close here, nor does the chapter end. So definitely stay inspired and love each other. Show kindness, be nice to others, be more giving. I think that this time period, not only did it make me a self-published author during the 14-day self-quarantine home from work, which is the time period I completed my work, but I will say that let this time be like a lending hand type, like a lending hand time. Like, let us love each other more, appreciate, cherish our loved ones, because at the end of the day, at this time, we are all we have. So
right.
I think we should stand united in this fight. We have to. We can't give up. We can't fight with one another. We should come together.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting that you wrote the book during quarantine. So it's
Yes,
like,
I was home during a 14-day self quarantine where I thought I had, well, thankfully I tested negative for COVID-19, but I was exhibiting some of the symptoms. And I was home and I was bored because I'm always working, I'm always doing something, I'm always busy. So being home and, just not having much to do other than like a mental break, I said, you know what, let's finish this book that I started. I actually started my book a few years ago, and I'll actually tell you guys about the incident that kind of sparked my inspiration. It's like spoiler alert. It's chapter 17 in my book. It's titled The Truth. So back a few years ago, I was shopping for my first place. I was in a furniture store, and I walked into the furniture store, and I was greeted by an employee. He said, "Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to the store. How can I help you guys?" And I was super excited. And as I was, looking around the store, looking at the items, I noticed that this same gentleman was like staring at me. It was almost like a glare. So I said, let me say hi to him again. And he said, "Excuse me, sorry to stare at you, but you look like this little girl that died a long time ago." And I said, "Excuse me, what do you mean?" And he said, yeah, and he described his experience. And he said, "Yeah, it was a long time ago. I was about 15. I was on a porch. I witnessed the accident. It was a little girl. She was riding her scooter. She got hit by a car. I watched her die in front of me. Her head was bleeding. She was like having like a seizure. Her body was shaking and her eyes were rolling in the back of her head. It was crazy. I had to get therapy. I had nightmares for years, PTSD." And I said, "I am that little girl." And he's like, "No way, no way. She died back then." I said, "Her scooter was blue, right?" That was me. So again, this big macho guy, maybe 6'5", he like broke down in emotion, and I gave him a hug. And to this day, we kind of have a running joke where he calls me the ghost. Like he calls me like Casper the Ghost. After all these years, he didn't think I was alive. So that day, I had always had like the blueprint for my book. Like I would take notes, or I made an outline many years ago, but I just never would sit down and just finish it. But after that day, I went home, I got on my computer, and I started the rest of the book. And I can say that I completed the final project. My original manuscript was about 270 pages, and that was on my Microsoft Word document, and it cut down to 223 pages in the book format. So that was my pandemic project. Pandemic project 2020, definitely.
yeah, I think that's great because I always try to tell people, find things to do in your home right now. Like there's projects you can do. There's
Right,
things,
exactly.
and that's exactly what you did.
Exactly. There's no excuse. Exactly.
It's like what we're doing right now on the YouTube.
Right, exactly. Exactly. At least it's positive.
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great.
Yes. That's my book. And it's available on Amazon. I also have autographed copies on hand. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Tulio, let's see, Biblioteca. It's on so many sites. I have to look at the list. Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Tolina, Kobo, Vivalino, Baker and Trailer, and you also have the picture with my email, which is veritesha.mori@yahoo.com.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
And what about being a counselor? So what do you
Well, I can say
that?
my experience working with the offender population in the past and currently, very challenging yet rewarding, because I've definitely learned the impact of mental health issues on criminality, antisocial behavior, violence, and aggression. So with that being said, the fact that people don't acknowledge these mental health issues or don't take them into account, it only causes these mental health symptoms to exacerbate in the individual to act in a way that they wouldn't have had they had the appropriate, whether it's treatment or medication, cognitive behavioral therapy. There's many things out there that can help our people become better people, obviously not just for themselves, but for their families and society as well. So
right. Yeah.
I can't say I enjoy, again, this is my master's is in forensic mental health counseling, the human services program, and my bachelor's is in criminal justice. So I kind of have the best of both worlds. So I can definitely say that I am very effective working with the mental health population, because I understand behavior, I understand the theories behind it. So I understand that there's definitely a need for mental health treatment. Absolutely, 100%. It's not even up for debate at this point.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Do you
What
see
about you? What's your experience like?
me? I guess the same. I mean, it's definitely needed for us to have mental health. Anybody, even if it's like the smallest thing,
Right.
to have a conversation with another human being. I think
Exactly.
like it's so important. so,
Right.
so it's really that simple. Like even like the smallest. I mean, we could all benefit from having therapy.
I agree, and I would definitely have to say that it's nothing to be ashamed of. Like I can see that the stigma attached to having mental health issues or even having a diagnosis, it's still prevalent. But it's devastating because that really discourages people who really, in fact, need the help from getting the help they need. Because like even working with children, I provided in-home psychiatric treatment, and just having a child know that, like, is something wrong with me? Am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. You're not. You're actually very special, and I'm here to get you the help that you need so that you continue to be special. You know what I mean? So I feel as if maybe just the wording when treating mental health clients and those who suffer from even co-occurring disorders, because obviously, you know, with the mental health piece and the substance abuse piece, that's very popular as well. So that's like the dynamic duo almost. So I just think that more people need to be sensitive to others and their special needs, because I believe that we're all special people in our own way. It's either some people just don't see it, and sometimes as a professional in this field, in the criminal justice field, that is, I would like to be the one to, you know, activate that intrinsic motivation and get others to see that you can get help, you can change, and you can be better, and you can do better.
Right. Yeah.
That's my passion.
Yeah. Especially like you're just saying with the kids. Sometimes they feel like, you know, there's something wrong with them, right?
Right. Like, I used to tell my clients,
talk to me because there's something wrong with me.
Right. Like, no, there's not. Like, there's art therapy, like play therapy.
Yeah.
Like, I used to tell my clients, like, draw me a picture of how you feel today. Well, let's say red could be me. Red means you're angry. Blue means you're sad. Pink means you're happy. Yellow means you're happy. Or another color means you're confused. Like, so I believe that, you know, there's definitely a way. There is.
Yeah. Yeah. And even changing like the way, like seeing them as I'm going to meet with a family today instead of saying I'm meeting with clients. or telling them like you're my client, like
even the word
you're my family that I'm meeting with tonight.
I agree. Even the word client, right?
Yeah.
Because you automatically assume that a client is getting services, and the services probably are for something that they're embarrassed about. So I agree.
And then a lot of kids attach, I want to do a video on this, but a lot of kids like attach the label to themselves. Adults do it too, but like especially the ADHD label.
Oh,
it's
my
like,
God.
well, I have ADHD, so this is the excuse why I'm no.
Exactly. It's so like it's, right. That's not an excuse. Exactly. It's like a child is supposed to be a little hyperactive.
Right. Yeah.
That's like in their nature to be hyper. It doesn't mean I feel as if too many people are just putting these labels on these kids and putting them in special rooms, taking them out of class. I mean, let's see. Some kids have candy for breakfast, which is not so appropriate, but that's sugar and the anxiety about going to school and seeing your friends and being in class. That would make one hyper.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can even remember, I mean, I went to Academy of Our Lady of Mercy, Laurelton Hall in high school. I remember my anxiety-driven days. I mean, I was a college prep school, you know, a Catholic school, very, very elite, so very prestigious, that is. So, I mean, just having to prepare myself for tests that were formatted like college work. And I did very well. I maintained, you know, being a straight A student. But again, it can, like, even anxiety can just be worrying about doing your best. Doesn't mean that you need the diagnosis. I mean, I'm anxious every day that I wake up. Do you know why? Because I want to be better than the person I was the day before. Mm-hmm. That's something to be anxious about. Or, you know, or I'm ready to write my second book, or I'm ready to go into law school, or I'm ready to do this, or I'm ready to get my LPC. Those type of things can be very anxiety driven, but it doesn't mean anything is wrong with me. It just means that I have a plan in place, and it's just freaking me out at the moment. That's all.
But you'll get through it.
Exactly. So
we'll do it.
Yeah, and how they they're least likely to seek treatment or even accept the treatment or even accept the diagnosis. That's step one. I mean, obviously the first step is acknowledgement, but it's like once you get past that point, what plan are you going to put in place? Because you can walk into a doctor's appointment tomorrow and walk back out with a whole list of new mental health diagnoses, and now it's just like, now what? You know what I mean? And some people may take that as like very disheartening. Like now their life is in shambles. Oh, I knew it. But again, I wrote my thesis in grad school on the impact of child abuse and trauma on adult criminality and violence. So a lot of our minorities have suffered from some type of trauma, either rather in the home or outside the home, whether they were in DCF care or actually raised by one or two caregivers. I can say a lot of minorities, or just people alike of any color, that is.
Right.
Excuse me, of any nationality or ethnicity, because color shouldn't be associated with the person. But trauma definitely plays a key factor in mental health, because there's a lot of people who suffer from repressed trauma. Like something could have happened to you at the age of 7, and you could be 52 still suffering from what happened to you back then. Right, because or maybe it was a secret you never told anybody. Like, for example, those who have unfortunately been sexually abused, or physically abused. Some people have never spoke up about. They've never told anyone. They've kept it in that. They've tried to put it in the back of their head, and they've kept it under wraps for so many years. But those traumatic thoughts, feelings, those nightmares are manifesting into their daily behaviors, their attitude, their, the way they are in friendships, and their inabilities to maintain relationships or trust anyone. So that's definitely a good topic. But I do think that, once again, there's nothing wrong with getting help. Like, there are mental health professionals like yourself and I, and the many others out here. Like, if you need help, go get it. If honestly, at this point, I realized that there's a website where you can actually pick a therapist that you're comfortable with. Like, if you want a therapist that looks like you, get a therapist that looks like you. If you want a therapist that looks like your favorite person, get that. Like, there are options available. So I think there's just no excuse. But there is a better way. With the use of evidence-based practices nowadays, like actual theories that back the issues that people are suffering from. Like, there's things that show, like, okay, this works. This might not work for you, but it may work for you. To have a treatment plan that's tailored to your unique individual needs is definitely key.
Yeah, especially to deal with the trauma, because
absolutely.
I met with Joshua Shea, who's porn addiction specialist, and the trauma is so connected with that as well. It's like it's everything. The trauma. Substance abuse, trauma. It's like trauma. Like, if we take care of the trauma, we might be able to help with so many other things. We have to take care of what happened.
Right. Yeah. Like first-hand trauma or something that you witnessed, or vicarious trauma.
Right.
I'm sure as a mental health professional, we suffer.
We get that. Yeah.
And just seeing something, and hearing people's stories and empathizing and sympathizing with them, it's just like, wow. Like, you'd be surprised what people have actually been through. And I like to express that to past clients. Like, look where you've been. Like, wow. Like, you have not broken. And you're not going to break, because we're going to keep you together, and we're going to move on, and we're going to try to deal with, again, I think that once something happens to you, the effects never really go away. It's just all about learning how to maintain them.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Aww. How are your parents now?
They're awesome.
They must be proud. They're proud.
Absolutely, yes. So, super proud. Super. Because my thing is, especially my mom. Like, that's my heart. She's never missed a beat. Like, she's been by my side since I came out the room, labor and delivery. She's been there every step of the way, and I think it's important that even like in my accident and that tragic incident that happened to me, to acknowledge her, because she went through. It wasn't just me going through something. I mean, mentally and obviously psychologically, she was going through something as well. So her mental health has always been important to me, because she's the strongest person I know. There's no one stronger than my mom on this planet, and that's a fact. Absolutely. Also, obviously the mental health professionals who helped save my life.
Yeah.
I can't thank them enough. I actually reached out to a few of them. I sent Dr. Charles Duncan a book. He works at Yale. He saved my life. And
Aww.
even though that was 17 years ago, he's in his 80s now. He said he never forgot me.
Wow.
Yes. So of course, thank the Most High God, because without him, I wouldn't have woken up today. And I wouldn't have opened my eyes on that day and, started my fight. So
yeah,
definitely a very spiritual person.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. God bless and stay safe. Remember, love wins. Love always wins.
Love wins, yeah.
Absolutely. Wait. Here's my butt.
Oh, it's so pretty. That's why when I saw it, I said, "Oh my goodness,
as you can see,
pretty. That's such a pretty book."
Yeah, it has glossy finish. Thank you so much. I did it all by myself. Hard work.
Yeah.
I say just remember